All right, we're live.
The November 21st, 2025 Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting is now in session. It is noted for the record that commissioners are attending this meeting via a web meeting, and a quorum of commissioners is present for today's meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Here.
Commissioner Geller,
Here.
Commissioner Weller,
Here.
Chair Ramirez.
Here. Will the, um, I'm sorry, members of the public had an opportunity to provide written public comment to the commission for this meeting. Can the clerk please confirm that no public comment was received?
That is correct. We did not receive any this month.
Okay. I will hand it over to Director Wells for the director's report.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Ramirez, commissioners. I would start today by just telling you a little bit about a charitable fund drive that we did here at Lottery. As you know, support for nonprofits and food banks across Oregon have been exceptional this year, and our Lottery team has also rose to the occasion during the statewide charitable fund drive. Through a silent auction, Oregon Lottery raised approximately $10,900 for nonprofit organizations across the state. So just take an opportunity to thank our employees who all contributed to this and had helped make a meaningful impact to those nonprofits. If you have been or visit Lottery's headquarters soon, you will notice a new sign in front of Lottery. This is a new, approximately 8-foot monument type sign. It's red and white, designed to proudly display our logo and name, located just outside the players' claims entrance. This update was made to help more clearly identify the building, which actually did not have any Oregon Lottery logos on it previously, and also help reduce some confusion for claimants as to what door they enter the headquarters to claim their prizes. Often they attempted to enter the employees only entrance and were confused by that. So super excited to finally have this new sign installed. It has taken us quite a bit of time to actually get this in place, and so it's nice to finally see it there. It's also a great location for players who have won to capture some selfies, and I've already seen some people out there doing that with their winning check. So excited to have that in place. Moving on to sales, the draft October financial statements are in your materials and will be coming to you for approval in January. But for today, I'm just going to provide a short sales update. Overall sales are actually trending up 4.7% compared to last year. Scratch sales are up 3.7%, and year to date, totals have surpassed all previous years, including 2021, when our sales reached a record $195 million. Our top performing ticket right now is the $30 holiday game, Holiday Wishes, and this price point alone accounts for 12.2% of total sales, more than the $1 and $3 tickets and nearly as much as the $2 tickets combined. So from a scratch standpoint, things are going really well. Mega Millions sales are up 33%, driven by the recent jackpot that climbed to $980 million. Last Friday, a single winner in Georgia claimed that prize, and the jackpot has reset to $50 million. Powerball is ahead of last year by 160.9%, thanks in part to the $1.8 billion jackpot that was won last month. Powerball's on another good run with a current jackpot for Saturday's drawing at $629 million. The great news is that longer jackpot runs have already moved us ahead of last year's lower sales number, which are typically impacted by a series of short jackpot runs with small amounts that don't generate the same level of excitement or sales. So it's good to see that this year's sales have already improved. Cash Pop continues to perform well, averaging 121,000 per week. That projects to be about 6.3 million annually and represents a solid lift compared to the game that it replaced. Keno is currently down about 3.6% compared to last year. And that concludes a financial report. We'll move on to a few winner stories. But as I mentioned last month's meeting, winners must now give us permission before we are able to share their names. This change came from the winner anonymity legislation that took effect at the end of September. But this month, I have a couple stories in which winners were okay with us sharing their names. So Tamara L. from Wood Village was at Alex's bar playing video lottery when diamonds suddenly started falling across the screen. That's when she hit the Big City Fives diamond jackpot worth $10,759.30. The whole bar erupted in cheers. Tamara plans to use her winnings for a trip to Hawaii to visit Pearl Harbor for her first time. First-time winner Gabriel R. from Glide is about to have a green Christmas thanks to a $40,000 win on the $5 Emerald Green Sevens Scratch It. Coming from a small town, Gabriel was shocked that such a large prize was sold near his hometown. He plans to use some of the money to celebrate the holidays with family. And finally, a sports betting customer from Sherwood placed a $1 seven-leg parlay using NFL anytime touchdown scorer player markets. After hitting all selections, the player collected $2,952.26. And Chair Ramirez, that concludes my report for this month.
Thank you, Director Wells. The minutes of the previous commission meeting have been circulated to the commission in advance of today's meeting. If there are no changes to the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Geller,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Ramirez.
Aye. For the record, the motion has passed. We do have very short agenda this week. And so I'll turn it over to the commissioners for commissioner communication, and we'll start with Commissioner Weller and a report out from the audit committee.
Thank you, Chair Ramirez. The Lottery Audit Committee meeting was held this morning prior to the commission meeting. The Audit Committee received a status report from the completion of the internal audit's calendar year 2025 audit plan. The audit team is currently on target to meet this year's plan as scheduled, does not anticipate any changes to the remainder of its schedule. The Audit Committee was also briefed on the results of the recently completed audit engagement titled Delegation of Procurement Signature Authority Review. The objective of this review was to determine the appropriateness and clarity of the lottery's delegated procurement authority as outlined in Internal Operating Policy 5.100, Delegation of Procurement Authority. This included a review to determine if the policy provides clarity regarding the delegation of authority, accurately reflects current lottery business practices, and a review of the designated dollar threshold amounts appropriateness. Additionally, this review included reviewing contract documentation signed to determine if they were signed in accordance with the dollar thresholds as outlined in the policy. Overall, the audit team concluded that Internal Policy 5.100 should be revised to provide clear and direct guidance related to the buying authority signature limits for procurement department staff. For instance, the audit team noted that the current policy does not specify if the stated buying authority limits apply to the annual cost of the contract, the total contract for the life, total cost for the contract over its life, nor whether these limits apply to contract amendments. Without clear direction on how the delegated signature authority is granted and how transaction amounts should be managed throughout the life of a contract, lottery may be at greater risk of being able to fully ensure that all contractual obligations are being upheld. 2 audit recommendations were made, and management agreed with the recommendations and provided management responses to adequately address each recommendation. The audit committee also received an update on 4 audit engagements that are currently in progress. First engagement that the audit committee was briefed on is near completion, entitled Lottery Ethics Training and Guidance Review. The objective of this review is to determine whether the lottery's ethics training and guidance practices ensure that an ethical culture is being prioritized and promoted. The audit team expects this engagement to be completed in the next few weeks. The audit team also provided an update on the progress of its external quality assessment review. An external quality assessment review must be conducted at least once every 5 years by a qualified independent review team from outside the organization to determine the degree to which the internal audit activity conforms to global audit standards. The audit team expects that this review will be completed in January 2026. The third engagement that currently is in progress is the internal audit's annual risk assessment, which will be used to develop its calendar year 2026 audit plan. Auditing standards require that the internal audit activities plan of engagements be based on a documented, annually recurring risk assessment. Audit engagements selected for inclusion into the internal audit department's annual audit plan are based on input from lottery management, reviews of prior internal audit organizational risk assessments, lottery's enterprise risk management risk register, lottery strategic plan, and professional audit-related publications and literature. A draft audit plan is expected to be sent to the lottery executive team for review and comments in December, and the final draft audit plan is expected to be reviewed and approved by the audit committee in January 2026. The fourth engagement that the audit committee was briefed on is internal audit's annual follow-up review of open audit recommendations. This annual follow-up review identifies the status of lottery management's corrective actions for open audit recommendations issued by internal audit, a review of the lottery's finance and accounting department conducted by Deloitte, and from the biennial security review completed in 2024. The audit team expects that this review will be completed in December. This concludes my audit committee update. Thank you.
I'd like to make a few more comments about the audit committee. So I've been fortunate to serve on that for the last year. And I am just tremendously impressed with the passion that team has, the professionalism and the transparency. The Oregon Lottery is really fortunate to have a team of that high caliber, and I just wanted to acknowledge that for the record. With that, I'll open it up to if any of the other commissioners have any comments or questions that they may have. All right. This concludes today's meeting of the Oregon State Lottery Commission. The next meeting is scheduled on Friday, December 19th at 10 a.m. Thank you all for attending today's meeting. This meeting is adjourned. Have a nice holiday,
Happy
everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you, commissioners. Have a good holiday.
All right.